Welcome to Beacon of Creation, a weekly podcast on game design through the lens of Magic the Gathering. I'm Tim.
And I'm Bradley Rose, otherwise known on Magic Arena as Bradley Rose.
Alrighty, yeah, you've been playing a little Foundations here. Foundations, the newest kind of like pseudo core set, pseudo more than a core set. But I got some bad news for you, Brad.
So what?
We are enacting a special plan. I need you to click a link that I'm putting in the show doc.
Oh, crap. Okay. Whoa.
We are not recording about Foundations today.
This is amazing.
We are doing an unpacking.
I did not catch a single idea that we would be doing an unpacking. What the heck? I'm excited. Oh, should I say this out loud now? What the title I see is?
Sure. What are you looking at?
Wrenchmar, Gambit of the Junk Lords.
This is a set in progress, a custom set in progress. What do you see on the front of this booster pack mock-up here?
I see a figure looking off into the distance. They're standing atop a bunch of rubble that is a bunch of like metal, scrap metal, and then the distance they're looking off, there's a ton of smoke in the air. It makes me feel like that it's apocalyptic or things just literally. No, it's piles of junk. So I feel like this is the type of world we live in. They might be a little bit of a cyborg as well. I'm looking at their limbs and such. Wrenchmar. That clues me into maybe some artifacts is higher in this one. Junk Lord, same thing. Oh yeah, there you go. Junk Lord. A lot of wreckage.
Yeah. See some power lines in here.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to do an unpacking. We haven't done an unpacking episode in a while, but the way that this works is that we know nothing about this set. I also don't know anything about this set. And we're going to learn whatever we can about this set just from the cards that are in this kind of virtual pack. We're going to go one card at a time, try to figure out what the themes are, try to guess like some other things about the setting, from the art, from the flavor, from everything else. Rather than trying to understand a whole set all at once, unpacking is all about what can you learn from just one pack.
Is this my first unpacking?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, no, I've been doing episodes for a long time, so I wouldn't put it past me that I've forgotten.
You know what? Declare that it's your first unpacking, and then when someone corrects us in the Discord, we are giving a gift to the listener who does that.
This is my first unpacking, dear listener.
All right. Do you want to do the first card?
Oh, I'm ready for it. Let's see. Okay, this first card is Council's Inquiry. Costs 2 and a blue for an instant. It's a common. Draw 2 cards, then you may discard a card. If you do, create a junk token. What's a junk token? It's an artifact with tap, sack this artifact, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn, activate only as a sorcery. We've seen junk tokens come out before with the Fallout Universes Beyond.
Yeah, so you could just, quick study. You could just 2 and a blue, draw 2 cards at instant speed. But your other option is draw 2 cards, discard a card, create this junk token. This junk token is also kind of a card draw. So even if you do discard a card, you are getting a card back. You sort of draw 3 cards, discard a card, sort of. But that junk token, exile a top card of your library. You could play that card this turn. You can only do that as a sorcery. So your junk tokens are a little worse than card draw as card draw, but might have a bunch of other purposes, right? Like junk token. Maybe whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, I get +1/+1. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, my power is equal to the number of artifacts I control. So there might be a lot of reasons to use junk tokens, to want a junk token more than you want the worst card in.
And I would like to play. If I top deck this, I probably will go for a junk token. Sometimes because of the getting extra lands, I don't want the land. Get the junk token. So the art shows what looks like a fish person, a tall fish person with a rhino person, a human-ish looking person. They're all gathered around this, pondering the orb together.
That's true. Communal activity here. I like this.
Yeah. I don't want to discount the possible person that of a floating stone thing that has a bunch of heads engraved into it. I don't know if they're a person or just an object. But it does look like maybe there might be an oppressive regime that is part of this world that has caused the state of the world to be this way, and then maybe there's some secret council of people. Yeah.
That rhino guy's got a fish hanging off of him. I just noticed. That's kind of irrelevant, but
Yeah.
This is a card that is going to go in just about any limited deck, and because of that, it's also going to make it easier to play whatever the junk deck is, whatever deck cares about junk. We don't know what that is yet. This is the only card we've ever seen out of Wrenchmar.
So non-creature tokens, I only expect to see junk tokens now.
Yeah.
Cool.
The mixture of like casting this at instant speed, but junk being relevant at sorcery speed is kind of cool too. How I generate a bunch of junk when it's not my turn, and then on my turn, I'm like, all right, time to go through all this junk. That seems appealing to me.
Yeah. All right. Second card goes to you.
Let's do it. It's called Survey the Ruins. It's a green mana for a sorcery. Another common. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And then it has 1 and a green, and exile this from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. So baseline, we have this kind of fixing-y green effect. I'm going to pay a green mana, get a land. That card by itself is not usually good enough to play. I have this kind of bonus here where I also get to cash this card in from my graveyard as a +1/+1 counter, which, I don't know.
Similar to when you have flashback cards and other things that happen from the graveyard. With the blue card we just saw, I want to discard this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Late game, if I rip this, I don't really care about it. But if I get to discard it for value, then it also does something in the graveyard. It's kind of like a scavenge from Ravnica. I'm kind of exiling a thing from my graveyard, getting a little extra creature size. It's making discarding and self-mill and all that kind of stuff better.
Yeah.
The art here, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's like a little person in the foreground standing on a platform looking out in the distance. And what is probably like a rotted, destroyed, 50-foot tall robot or something. It looks like it has an arm. Looks like it has sort of a head, or maybe that's the back of a ship. I'm not sure. But yeah, those are the ruins we're surveying. So we got Junk World. We got a world full of destroyed stuff.
The smokiness going off of the art, maybe it's limited to what art we can find, but I'm wondering about how recent these ruins are, if something did just happen and then now we're dealing with the aftermath a little more immediately, or if it's just been a slow decline over time of this world. And then, of course, anyone born into this world would want to explore where you shouldn't go, because there's nothing to sustain life of these places that have been ruined.
Yeah, what are the touch points to you for like a kind of ruined junk world?
Well, this is probably not the first thought. I'm just going to get out of the way. Is Lion King.
Oh,
Mufasa saying to Simba, "Those are the Shadowlands or whatever it is. You must never go there."
Yeah.
That feeling, it makes me think that like there are some, like, if you imagine Earth now, if it was ruined, and there might be places that are just no-go places. There's nothing to like, you'll die because there's no trees there providing oxygen. You'll die there. That's the one thought.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe like Thor 3.
Ragnarok.
Yeah. Was this?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sakaar from Thor Ragnarok, where Thor gets dropped off in like a garbage planet. With all the scavengers and stuff. Yeah.
That would be a great reason to survey, because you don't know. This is a mysterious world that has already had all this stuff. Yeah, trash world.
It came from different places. It's not just a world that was destroyed. It was a world that had stuff dumped on it.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm thinking that I probably am going to expect to see either kind of Mad Max or Borderlands sort of stuff. Crazed scavengers, like berserky kind of like people with spiky bats and crazy masks and stuff like that. I might expect some of that in the set.
I feel like having this one-off exile this from the graveyard means we won't see scavenge show up. We already have scavenge on creatures. It's a little too much to just throw it onto a sorcery.
Well, I guess when we see like put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature, the artifact we're suspecting is a vehicle.
Oh yeah, because your Mad Max guess is making more sense here. With I completely just kind of glossed over the artifact part. That's great.
It could be other things. There have been like mana rocks that can come to life or whatever.
Yeah,
But vehicle seems like the default thing for this.
excellent.
This is going to be good preparation for us because we need to get immersed in like an artifact vehicle world. We got Aether Drift coming up. We're going to learn all about vehicles there probably.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is good prep. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to be ready to go 7-0 now in Aether Drift because of Wrenchmar.
I love it. All right, you ready for a new card?
Oh, I'm ready. Here we go. Rampaging Goliath. It is 5 in a red for a common artifact creature golem. It is a 4/6. It has trample. When you salvage this onto a creature or a vehicle you control, put a trample counter on that permanent. And there's a salvage keyword here.
Wow.
And it has a cost. It's 5 in a red. And here's the reminder text. 5 in a red, exile this card from your graveyard.
Oh.
Put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to this card's power onto target creature or vehicle. Salvage only as a sorcery.
Wow. So we have scavenge, but it's been upgraded.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Is this like exactly scavenge, but can also hit vehicles? Is that what this card is?
Yeah. It's like kicker, but now it's multi-kicker. So we went from scavenge to salvage.
From morph to disguise. We're just sort of like upgrading an old mechanic to better fit like the purposes of a given set.
Yeah. We need it to be artifact world. I need a little more flexibility in there. Okay, so it puts a trample counter. This makes me think there might be a cycle of salvage artifact creatures like this, whether they're golems or other things. Might be a cycle of golems because the 4/6 golem, it kind of feels like a construct of that. So this one has trample, and you put a trample counter on. I'm guessing that the rest of the cycle are keyword ability, and then put that keyword ability counter on it.
Maybe we get a vigilance golem.
Yeah, vigilance golem. That's a good one.
Holding up for vigilance. Is vigilance on a vehicle good? I guess if it's a cheap crew cost, vigilance on a vehicle is good. Because then it can play both ways, yeah.
Big blocker, yeah. We got art of a mechanized construct coming out of maybe the ground, or there's rolling over the ground very hard because we got rocks and debris. Some smoke also coming up out of the ground. It makes sense. There's maybe a little bit of lava-ish in the ground. This is a red golem here.
There's like an airship in the background, kind of like a Final Fantasy balloon Zeppelin airship.
Yeah, could be essential for. It's hard to traverse over piles of rubble that will roll away. Like it's hard to walk over it, so you can just kind of take the airship.
Another thing that I'm kind of reacting to, and that I think we're all still learning about, is the place of 5 and 6 drops at common in play boosters. Play boosters, the baseline power level of commons is a little higher. We need each common to really carry its weight because there are fewer commons per pack. We really have to focus on all those things. And in this case, if you showed this to me like a couple years ago, this would be more than I'd expect to see on a common, like, a pretty decently sized body and then getting all those stats onto a fresh creature. That feels like a little high for like a red card at common. Like I might expect to uncommon. The thing that we've seen with play boosters is like just play all the low drops unless you're the green deck. And I like seeing a card in this pack that's like, no, here's a reason to play a 6 mana common. It's because it's so big, it's so good if you mill it or discard it or whatever else.
Yeah. Recently though, they had is it basic land cycling? Right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool to see extra uses. I'm already wanting to maybe discard this to that blue spell.
That basic land cycling that we've seen on like a cycle of Ixalan creatures that all have, island cycling or whatever, basic land cycling. Those are good ways to get those 6 mana creatures into people's decks. And here's maybe another way. Just put enough stats on the card, not all at once. You get your 4/6 to start with, and then you get to add another 4 counters later. But you get a lot of total stats on your common. And then maybe that's a reason that you want to. I don't know. I want to see more and more attempts to make 6 mana commons and play boosters.
No, with this conversation, I'm taking away that lesson, that note for my future set designs. Make sure you got that on your 6 drops.
Yeah.
Unless you got a good reason not to, of course.
You have to give a little more on those 6 drops at common, because otherwise it's just going to be cuttable. There's 4 uncommons, 5 uncommons per pack sometimes, and play boosters. Your expensive cards have to have some niche in the set to be playable.
So we haven't seen a vehicle yet, but I'm wondering how much artifact representation is Artifact World. Are we going to see an equipment? Are we going to see just an artifact with no subtypes as well?
Yeah, that's a good point. If we're thinking of like Borderlands or something, the video game franchise, which is like post-apocalyptic scavengers everywhere, that is to me extremely weapon focused, even more so than vehicles. It's more about weapons. But maybe if you're doing salvage, you say like, hey, let's chill on the weapons. We'll have like 2 weapons or whatever. We'll have 2 equipment. We're gonna have how many vehicles can you put in a set? I don't even know. Can you put 20 vehicles in a set?
Maybe. That's like four per color, 1 at each rarity. Although some of them could be colorless, so you can ease back on.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna make a note. That's going in the poll. One of the polls for the episode.
20 vehicles. What's next?
All right. This one is called Power of the Beast. It's a black card, 2 and a black, 3 mana for an instant. This spell costs 2 less if it targets an artifact creature. And then target creature you control gets +2/+0 and indestructible until end of turn. Even got a little bit of flavor text here. Each day, these fanatics grow bolder. Junklord Felisa. These fanatics. And the art here, there's a guy in the middle. He's going ham. He's got like a giant metal gauntlet, maybe with like a guitar fret along the forearm. It's a huge claw.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of anime-ish. I've been watching Dan to Dan, when he transforms, is kind of like that character. Just like spiky, flying cloak, flying clothes.
I just saw only 1 episode just the other day of that. So I get what you just referenced.
There you go. And the theme song rules. Do you agree?
Yes.
Dan, 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 dan.
I'll pretend I'm hearing that as I'm looking at this art. It's very action packed with all the debris coming up as well. They're slamming down onto the ground and rocks are going up.
Yeah. And there's some like big lizardy robot creatures around them, something like that.
Yeah. So those are who are maybe what they're fighting, and they're equipping up. They're
revving their claw glove. It
Oh,
looks because they got like a string coming out of the glove that they're pulling on.
Yeah, ripcord there.
Yeah.
This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an artifact. Okay, so there's going to be a prevalence of artifact creatures here. So it's not just a bunch of just inanimate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor does seem to say that there's going to be artifact creatures when you're looking at these creatures that they're fighting. It's not just a bunch of cars that they're punching. This does definitely mean at least vehicles will be around.
Yeah. And we saw an artifact creature earlier. I guess, do we see a ton of artifact creatures? Are artifact creatures mostly going to be, big hulks from the before times? Or are we going to see little happy robot buddies too?
The flavor text, Junklord Felisa, I don't know how much on the nose they're going for with your guess, Tim, about Mad Max. Furiosa being the character from Mad Max. There's Felisa.
Oh, yeah.
Starts with F. Maybe they're trying to hint a little, try to make it easier for you to guess that this is Mad Maxy.
In terms of comps for this card, so this is 3 mana, costs only 1 mana if it targets an artifact creature, gives +2/+0 and indestructible. In Bloomburrow, we had Scales of Shale, which was the same starting cost, 2 and a black, cost 1 less for each lizard you control, so kind of the same vibe. And that gave +2/+0, lifelink, and indestructible. So it was a little more generous in terms of keywords. But that ended up being like a sleeper, like quite powerful card. Giving indestructible might mean that you're like winning like a pretty significant combat. Maybe if my artifact creatures are huge it's important that I keep them alive, and so giving indestructible is something that I'm trying to do.
Maybe this protects all those artifact creatures from just catching strays of, oh, okay, you just happen to have a braid. Unfortunately, I went all in on vehicle deck. This says, nah, don't just randomly shatter me just because I'm playing that strategy.
All right, give me a new card.
Let's go with Wasteland Daredevils. Costs a red for a common creature human warrior. So 1/1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a vehicle, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It also has pay a white, sacrifice this creature, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. All right, and then here's the art here. It's got someone on a motorcycle. They kind of got a top, like their view of someone else on a motorcycle. It looks like they're just going through, as the name says, wasteland. So it's a bunch of like dirt area with some metal road that they're going on. Wow. So yeah, this is a 1/1 for 1, but it becomes a 2/1 and thus worth it if you got a vehicle. So vehicle matters.
And it gets that extra power. It's not an attack trigger, it's beginning a combat trigger. So I get the second power if I have a crew 2 vehicle. I get that second power in time to crew my vehicle at 2 power instead of at just 1.
The white to sack this creature, that's a great choice for if you have no vehicles around, you only have this. And if you have no vehicles around, that means you probably have dead vehicles. So you can return target vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. Also codes this into the archetype, I guess, vehicles.
Yeah. So I guess like this is really directly saying red, white. You should be expecting to play vehicles in this color pair. And vehicles, not all of them are big, but they tend to be larger so that they're worth crewing. So this creature's ability to be like a 1 or 2 power attacker in the first couple turns, then just trade in for, I could cash this in to get back like my 5/5 vehicle later. That's like an average case that seems pretty realistic. That's something I can pretty reliably do with this card.
I like that. Maybe I feel a little trepidatious about this reliably turning on with any 2 mana vehicles that I would have in the deck, which maybe means that this card is not just for having just solid red aggro decks. This is for the vehicle deck. So if you happen to draft lots of vehicles, this will still be in your in the packs when it's passed to you, and you can capitalize on that.
Kind of like we were talking about with 6 drops, I also love seeing pushing down into 1 drop as well.
And you know what? The art showing a motorcycle does make me want to, like, it does. How can you make small vehicles make sense? Well, motorcycles are some of the smallest vehicles, and you might see that on a 2-drop.
That's
think there will be a 2-drop motorcycle in the set?
In the set, yeah. In this pack, our chances are starting to dwindle. But yeah, in the set, give me a couple like really cheap ones.
Yeah. Give me a 0-drop vehicle that's a Razor scooter.
Well, you have some kind of cool room for vehicles because they require crewing. Even if they're like 0 mana or 1 mana or 2 mana, they can still do something pretty good. The read on the card can still be pretty nice. Oh, we've had a fair number of cheap vehicles. I just did a type vehicle mana value less than 3. How many results do you think I got?
12.
26.
Oh.
Now some of these, there's like the TARDIS is one of them, but
phone booth. Yeah.
They've been playing around. Yeah, the phone booth. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the that back in the days of 2 mana vehicle standard deck.
Smuggler's Copter is like
Smuggler's Copter.
That's
the classic
one. Yeah.
Maybe this set is a good time to bring back a Smuggler's Copter power level vehicle. Or unless that wasn't fun. I mean, it could be like, it was too powerful, but
it was banned for a while in a format or 2.
Okay, all right.
But you just put a color on there, and then now you're good. It's not an all 5 color.
There you go. Sweet. Red or white. We'll do it.
All right, yeah, I'm liking that. The Daredevils there seems pretty cool. Yeah, it feels like I need to. I don't play this card if I have 2 or fewer vehicles in my deck, probably. I kind of need to be up in the 3, 4, or 5 vehicles in a limited deck, which is not really a format that we've seen so far.
You know how motorcycles got those side mirrors?
Yeah.
And there is one in the art here.
Yeah.
What colors you see in that side mirror?
Enhance. Looks like white and red.
Boom. It was already coded for red white archetype. Nah, I'm just having some fun, but
it actually looks like the Tommy Hilfiger logo, the clothing brand.
Oh, that's funny.
The rear view mirror there.
Yeah.
He's running. That's the one of the junk lords is future Tommy.
They got this from this junkyard. There's actually no mirrors on it, but they figured they would put their favorite logo of their brand on there to look at.
Flags. Yeah.
Yeah.
While they're driving, they can look down and like, damn, I love wearing these polos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. What's our next card?
We've got Alert Sentries, 2 and a white for a sorcery at combat. Create 2 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature tokens. So we got some little babies for 3 mana for 2 babies. We're expecting a little bit more, and we get it. This is another off-color activation. 2 and a black. Exile this card from your graveyard. Call the beast. Activate as a sorcery.
Wow.
All right. Classic unpacking moment here. An undefined rules action here. You get a Call the Beast emblem. If you don't have one, then you may activate one of its abilities.
That's juicy. We have so much to ponder.
Yeah. Sorcery, get 2 1/1. So we need the Call the Beast thing to do something, because at a base, this card is not quite going to be good enough. And so we're paying 3 mana, 2 and a black, exile it from your graveyard to Call the Beast.
Wow. This immediately reminds me of Corset with Garrick as the main antagonist in it. For local game shops, you can go and play an in-store event where it's a giant card physically that is a Planeswalker Garrick card that is basically like an archenemy-ish raid style format. You know what? I think I'm confusing it with the custom format I made, where you actually get to control Garrick. Incidentally. Anyway, so I guess you or your opponent, do you think you and your opponent can both share the beast, or you both take turns with the beast?
You get a Call the Beast emblem if you don't have one. So
you both can have one. Okay.
It seems like it. Call the Beast. So I guess what I sort of imagine from the flavor that I know is like, hey, we're in like Monster Hunter world. We can scavenge all these busted up airplanes and stuff if we want to, but what we really want to do is take down a huge monster. That's like sort of our goal. We're trying to build up a big army and like fight some big mutant, some 30-foot tall, just like 6-legged creature with 4 mouths or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what the beast is.
Alert Sentries is the name of the card. So you can make these servos, but you also get to call the beast. And it makes me think that someone is using the beast nefariously.
Oh, you're turning the beast on your opponent. You're luring it. There's a rival junk town, and you're trying to bring the beast out so that and then just like push it towards your opponent so that your opponent gets smooshed by the beast.
Yeah. Like if you imagine Avishkar use their giant golems for their means to advance their agenda. So yeah, they could have found a way to influence this beast to maybe crush local communities that maybe that for if they need their resources or if they're not following the rules or whatever.
Yeah. You may activate one of its abilities, which makes it feel like a planeswalker.
Okay.
Maybe you can only ever activate certain things, or it has loyalty-ish kind of thing, or what would we guess what would restrict, or what kind of abilities would the beast have? if I had a card, this alert sentries, if instead of 2 and a black exile, call the beast, could I have a card that's 2 and a black exile, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn? That's probably a card you'd be allowed to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When you use this, you want to be able to be applicable for different situations you're in. So if you
Yeah.
have no creatures, you want there's going to be an ability that either has the beast come out and swing in, or produces maybe they are a beast that makes little sapling. I don't know,
Yeah.
that produces creatures, draws cards. Or sorry, when I say produce creatures, the beast could be the creature if you need it to. Draws you cards, or gets you mana in some way, whether it's treasure or searching for a land. There you go. Those are my guesses: is mana, cards, and creatures.
I'm liking it. Yeah, it can turn. It's like a Gideon. If Gideon was an emblem, this emblem becomes a creature until end of turn. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. The beast is as large, like a black blade effect. As many lands as you control, that's how big the beast is.
Oh,
The beast
that seems
embodies
cool.
the sands of your lands.
Yeah. I don't know what the beast is going to be, but I appreciate getting things that are more than just technology on this plane. Like we get a little bit of like magical giant creatures as well.
Yeah. Another plane in the art.
Yeah,
With
like a
that
crashed plane on fire. There's a couple little skittery robots.
Yeah. Aircraft count 2 or more.
The 20 vehicle mark. This is my new obsession. All right, give us a new card here.
Okay, we have Toss to the Heap for a black common instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, choose one. First mode, sacrifice a creature and pay 2 life.
Oh.
Second mode, sacrifice an artifact. And then the effect here is draw 2 cards.
Oh, just draw 2. All right.
Wow, draw 2.
This does tell me that we are getting a bunch of tokens somehow, whether it's a lot of junk or something else, because this feels a little bit worse than some other comparable black cards that we've seen, and I think that must be on purpose.
Yeah, the vehicle strategy, you likely don't want to toss your artifact in there. So servos we saw, junks we saw, so you would probably throw in one of those. Although, yeah, I guess servo would be the artifact part, but if you have a creature token, you do the sacrifice a creature and pay 2 life part.
Paying 2 life, yeah. I'm surprised of that extra restriction. Maybe it's fine.
It's the instant speed draw.
Yeah,
Maybe
instant
it's
speed.
instant.
Yeah, it's about to get removed anyhow, so let me get my cards out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to just you don't want to just block and say, hey, I'm just going to lose my 1/1 anyway. I'll draw 2. It feels like it's too free. The art shows there's 5 different sets of glowing eyes on dark figures, either looking towards the ground. Yeah, like the heap is the part of the ground here.
Yeah.
These figures look like they're made of maybe natural vines and such, or maybe they are part metal. Yeah, hard to tell.
Definitely Robo Zombie vibe to me.
Robo Zombie, yeah.
They were cyborgs, they died, but their body is still kept alive or something.
There might still be a sacrifice theme with a card that calls it out, and you also have junk that says sacrifice. You might want to play it in. Let's see, this is black, and then the junk one was. Well, I guess junk is just in all colors, probably.
Yeah, junk's in blue in the card that we saw. It's not just a black-red thing.
Yeah.
If we have blue, black, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be a draw cards theme because junk isn't drawing a card.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got a land. All right, we got a common land cycle? Question mark. Market Midden. Midden. This land enters tapped. It taps for a blue or a red, and then it's got an extra ability on it. 1 and a hybrid blue-red, so 2 total mana. Tap, sack this land, create a junk token.
All right. Junk probably is all colors.
I would be surprised if this wasn't a cycle. I guess it could be, but
I like
It could be a
this.
one-off, but
This is usually get like a life nowadays when you're
yeah. Enters gain a life, enters deal 1. There have been a couple different dual lands that we've seen lately.
the payoff with junk token is pretty clean because I think when you are flooded, by that time you also might be low on spells too. So you want to go through the top cards of your library, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it enters tapped. We had in Modern Horizons cards that were playable were like the Nurturing Peatland is one of them, but which would be like tap, pay 1 life, add black or green. So not ETB tapped, but they cost 1 life each time. And then they're 1 tap sack, draw a card. Like we were saying before, is draw a card or a junk token better? It's a little hard to say. But these common lands add 2 extra things to it. They add ETB tapped and also 1 extra mana to use that ability.
I like this. This makes me pleased to see. Because I don't mind ETB tap. Well, I guess enters tap. The battlefield's no longer on the. But yeah, I don't mind enters tapped lands in limited. That's fine to me. And creating junk tokens feels good. It feels good to me. We got giant fan propeller thing that powers jet engines or whatever in the background, and it's as larger than this town's buildings, and it looks desolate and decrepit buildings.
I looked up midden, a word that I had not heard before.
Yeah.
A dunghill or refuse heap.
Ah.
I guess put all your trash in one spot kind of thing.
So now you get to buy any of this junk.
Yeah. Someone can go through it later if they want to.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Midden. We're getting vocab.
Yeah, I
upgrades
learned a
during this
thing.
pod. Yeah.
Nice.
Are you bold enough to have a cycle of 10 cards with midden in the name?
No.
Me either. I'm too much of a coward.
How about 10 cards where all the title alliterates? Market midden. That feels difficult, but maybe just a coincidence here. It's fun to alliterate. And because of that, I think it's biased into, we just incidentally get more alliterative cards than we should if we just randomly name things that are the best fits. So
maybe they could all be markets. Could we have 10 market cards?
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Market, and then some kind of plateau, or not plateau, but like plains, vastland, market, vastland.
Market overlook, market, like the different parts of a market or the different kinds of markets.
Yeah. Market underground.
To have a junk world, you need to exchange junk for other goods and services, probably.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking like Fallout or something.
Yeah. Currency, no longer a thing.
Yeah. Bartering. If you have junk world, do you not really have treasure tokens? Or do you still do treasure?
That's funny. Yeah. Next up, Junkyard Riveter. Costs 1 white. It's an uncommon creature human artificer. 2/2. It's got a ability word called Hoot and Holler.
What?
And it does, what that means here for this card, whenever this creature or a vehicle it crewed this turn attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So I'm going to kind of re-summarize here. So whenever this creature attacks or a crewed a vehicle and then that vehicle attacks this turn, put up a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Flavor text. Just wait till the beast sees this. It won't know what hit it. Well, hoot and holler.
Yeah.
We've heard about fanatics earlier. Mad Max has those colorful characters that kind of just cheer as they go and chase down or speed along an area. Do you think maybe there are some peeps that are just enthusiastic with their traversing around with junk.
Yeah, this guy feels a little more a part of civilization, I guess. A little longer term thinking, maybe.
Mm.
Let's build a society. Let's build up some nice stuff.
Yeah, they're working towards a long term with the flavor text. Just wait till the beast. So waiting means that they're spending a lot of time.
Hmm.
They won't know what hit it. Okay. The hoot and holler parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still love having fun. I guess there's sort of crazed screaming people, and then there's also good time having buddies. And
Yeah.
those are different groups of people.
Yeah. Like maybe when you're doing a shanty on a ship, you're all just
Hmm.
trying to pull the ropes and steer the ship,
Yeah.
but you're all having fun doing the work. Okay. Yeah, the art shows someone who has a smile on their face and they got goggles on, so they're doing some work. They got like a mallet in their hand that's raised, that's about to strike on top of a contraption that looks like a patchwork engine. So they've built all this stuff from smaller parts.
It really reminds me of the Goblin rockets from Warcraft. It's one huge turbine thing, and then like basically a motorcycle seat on top of it.
Turbine, yes. Very good. Yep.
In terms of the card itself, 3 mana 2/2. Whenever it or a vehicle accrued attacks, put a +1/+1 counter. We've been seeing more exploration into this effect. I think there was a breakthrough card in Zendikar Rising, I want to say. Luminarch Aspirant, which was 1 and a white for a 1/1. Beginning of combat, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That was like a very solid rare that had a lot of utility. Just something where I get a counter every turn. I'm not that big a creature, but I'm giving away a counter every turn, and that's going to keep my offense going. Here, it's it's a little conditional. It's whenever this guy attacks or a vehicle accrued attack, and I think that's what probably brings it down from a rare down to an uncommon. But it's still a very fun card. As long as I can keep a
Yeah.
little bit of offense going, I can keep my army growing bigger without playing additional cards.
This reminds me of now this is pod racing from Star Wars 1.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
Anakin.
yeah,
Anakin's making the
yeah. A little Tatooine. Yeah.
yeah, Tatooine. I like that feeling.
So, if we're thinking of the episode 1 Tatooine vibes, what are some other flavor notes from that setting?
So we had the market. So
Oh
people
yeah,
are
yeah. This may be a concept of like a civilization outside of Tatooine that they're trading with. We're going to extract resources from Tatooine and then like trade that with outer space. I don't know if we'll have outer space in this set, but it's maybe
ooh,
part of it that there's some other world or some other thing that like we're not just junking to survive, we're junking because we're going to get rich because we can sell that not to locals but to other people.
that's really cool. I hadn't really thought about this. I mean, is this a post Omen Path world?
I would imagine the people working on it, yeah, we're at least thinking of that. I don't know if we'll see a recognition of it, but yeah, for sure.
I don't know how many Omen Paths a plane could have or how many it
Yeah,
fluctuates in.
yeah.
But imagine just the one, or it's constricted somehow. And yeah, so now there's the people with the haves, the Omen Pathway people that control that, and the have-nots that they're on the outside, like you're saying with the Tatooine people or the junkyard civilization people.
Do you like little kid Anakin?
I like little kid Anakin. Yeah, episode 1 Anakin putting stuff together, kid, and then the whole scrappy racing, like that's awesome. I like that field. It's kind of like you built a deck beforehand and then you're putting it through the trials. So you put together this vehicle and then you're like, all right, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, cobbling and upgrading a vehicle. That's maybe part of the pod racing thematic space.
Yeah.
That the vehicle that you can actually get a hold of isn't that good, so you need to do a bunch of work on it.
Yeah.
All right, next up we've got an enchantment, Yarder's Uprising. Yarder, maybe a person who lives in a yard.
Ooh.
2 and a red for an enchantment at uncommon. When this enchantment enters, create 2 1/1 red mercenary creature tokens with haste. Whenever a creature you control dies, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. And the flavor text, no fear, we ride with thunder.
Here it is. We were just talking about maybe civilization,
Hmm.
the yarders.
Yeah, the yarders. Yeah, the steel yard workers, maybe the people who
Mm-hmm.
are processing all this junk, who have a tough life and have had enough because they're being oppressed by somebody.
The art shows a bunch of people at the ground level
Mm-hmm.
cheering, looking up towards some people speaking to them
Mm-hmm.
that are standing at the base of an empty either tunnel or a larger engine part.
This feels very Mad Max Fury Road to me. Something about the art style here.
Mm.
Standing on a big metallic thing, but then there's a bunch of scaffolding that's much crappier that they've built on there since then. Mechanically, it's got a little bit going on. It's 3 mana to get 2 1/1s with haste, which is pretty close to good. And then this kind of unusual trigger. Like the timing of this trigger is kind of funny. Whenever a creature you control dies, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's not super straightforward to make work.
Yeah, usually creatures die after you want that boost. So
Hmm.
now we have like a very like, hey, yes, you are going to probably sacrifice your creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And that black card we saw earlier that likes to toss
Hmm.
creatures, maybe can be used at sorcery speed or before you would want to, even though that's an instant, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to use it for this.
Hmm.
After blockers are declared, I guess you attack, you see how they block, then you just sacrifice a creature
Yeah.
and make this happen. Yeah.
Attack with 5 1/1s into their 4/4. I know one of them's going to get blocked and it's not going to survive. So instead of letting it die to combat damage, I sacrifice it.
It's a good feel if you have a bunch of people that are not as strong.
Hmm.
Ooh, the movie Ants.
Or the 3D movie?
The 3D movie Ants.
Okay. Okay.
There's a ton of ants, but there's a few strong grasshoppers. You know that you should attack with all the ants. And then even though they can stop any one of them, it is scary to face a grasshopper, it will just be ultimately terrifying for them.
Mm.
This does encourage you. Yeah, you swing with everything, and then the rest of the cards in your deck will just be able to let you do instant speed sacrifice so that it doesn't
Mm.
matter what they block. That one creature with this enchantment is going to contribute towards making everything else deal the damage anyway. There's no way of stopping that your 5/1/1s is going to do 8 damage with their 1/4/4.
I
Yeah.
did not realize how stacked the cast was on Ants. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. Woody Allen, Sharon Stone,
Oh
Gene
wait,
Hackman,
A Bug's
Sylvester
Life.
Stallone.
Sorry, A Bug's Life.
Oh, Bug's Life.
I got it wrong.
Oh
I
no.
got it wrong. A Bug's Life. I'm so sorry. I'm team A Bug's Life. I don't really like.
All the Bug's
It's not
Lifers are
my
like
preference for to watch
outside your
ants.
house right now with pitchforks and torches. Like,
Oh
how dare
no,
you
the
get this wrong?
uprising. Oh no,
They lit the beacon and they've all rallied to bring you down.
I understand.
Alrighty, yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit of a puzzle, which is kind of fun because you're getting probably something that you wanted anyhow, which is I need a couple 1/1s out of one card. I don't know. This card makes me think that there's going to be something more than just like 2 self-sacrifice cards, like the throw to the junk heap. What was the card we saw? Toss the heap. Having like toss to
Yeah,
the heap and a red burn spell that sacks a creature. That doesn't feel enough to justify this enchantment. It makes me think that there's something else that's naturally sacrificing creatures, like a mechanic or something that's present on like
yeah,
5 cards. Yeah.
yeah. If you have these like self-detonating robots or
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
whatever type of creatures that tend to blow themselves up, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And this may not be in this set, but anyone with first strike that your
Hmm.
opponent has will power up
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
creatures that have second strike.
Finally, some tools against defensive first strike.
Yeah. Take that. It's funny to try to build into
Yeah.
like a different archetype has first strike on your turn.
Hmm. All right, maybe we have a bunch of creatures with last strike in this set.
Oh. Whoa. Galaxy Brain.
Bunch of vehicles with last strike that are getting taken down.
Oh my god.
And then the yarders are going nuts because of it. All right. Give us another card here.
We have Drexel Acolyte.
Whoa.
Costs green, blue, uncommon, creature, insect, mutant, cleric.
Whoa.
1/1 is flying. It could tap to add a green or a blue. And it also has at the beginning of your end step, if you called the beast this turn, called the beast.
Mm.
Whoa. Okay, there's mutants, insects. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The art shows somebody that looks like they don't even come from this plane. They have like a couple of winged looking things. Wow. Okay.
Give me a little bit of Lilith from Diablo 4, like a sinister woman with like a huge head, like like horned head. Definitely an unusual creature.
Okay, so we've got calling the beast archetype, maybe in green blue
Yeah.
here, and also providing mana, which might clue me into ramp.
Yeah.
Do you think activating abilities then on the beast sometimes
Cost
requires
mana?
mana for some of the
Yeah.
better stuff?
You had the idea before of the Black Blade, like its size is the number of lands you control. And maybe it's a little
True.
more like, hey, I got to pump mana into it to just like pump up the beast. If I call the beast early, maybe we don't want to like give people temporary 6/6s on turn 3. But if it scales with the game, it feels cool that towards the end of the game I can call the beast and have a 6/6 to attack with for a turn.
Since this is end step, we know we have effects that are good
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
that are outside of combat
Mhm.
as well. I mean, I think there might be effects that are good for combat and not for combat at the same time. You can squish something.
Yeah. Huh. We're really seeing the era of like double gold cards per color pair in play boosters in a lot of sets that we've seen so far. And they've been like pretty heavily hinting at draft archetypes. So I think it is probably fair to guess that this card is trying to tell you that although other colors may call the beast, blue green is trying to call the beast.
Yeah. Drexel acolyte. So they're an acolyte of
Yeah.
Drexel, or they are Drexel-y
Or their species is
person.
Drexel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Drexel.
cleric.
I guess that may be worshiping the beast at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to get a couple more cards in. Like I want to learn more.
Yeah.
The next one is called Battery Thief. This is 1 and a black for a creature human artificer at uncommon. It's a 1/1, so 2 mana 1/1. We better see some abilities. Pay 1, sacrifice a non-token artifact. Create a junk token. And then junk tokens you control have tap, pay 1 life, add black. Not sack. So my junk tokens are now mana rocks that cost me life when I have Battery Thief. And if I have other artifacts, I don't know, little artifact creatures or something, I could just trash them to turn them into junk so I can then use them for mana.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. You want both junk tokens and artifact creatures. I mean, I guess you
Yeah.
don't need any junk tokens beside this card if you choose to.
Yeah, I would normally be skeptical that we want to downgrade our artifact cards into junk. Like,
Yeah.
there aren't going to be that many. Like, I might have one, golden egg or something, 2 mana, enter the battlefield, draw a card, and have some other like one-time utility, gain some life, filter some mana. But I can't have a ton of those. So I got to imagine if I'm using this first ability, I am like legitimately junking actual like motorcycles and little mech friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can't feed like servos into it because it sacrificed a non-token artifact. This is saying junk is really good for you for some reason.
Maybe salvage cards that are cheap. Throw them in there, and then
Yeah,
use them
okay.
again.
Yeah.
Maybe the beast has a lot of mana requirement on it. You can use this for a high payment on the beast. Black blue likes junk, maybe.
Yeah. This does really convey that like I am being reckless. I'm taking a functioning thing. This battery thief is saying, "Hey, look at that like working refrigerator. Look at that lawnmower. I'm going to
Yeah.
destroy it so that I could just salvage a piece of junk at it."
Yeah.
Which is like kind of an interesting flavor note. It's the opposite of that hoot and holler guy who was like, "Let's build up a thing." This guy's like, no,
Yeah.
let's just rip it up. Let's waste
Yeah.
things so that we can benefit.
Yeah. Ramping can be powerful in the early game, but you got to pay 2, and then you got to pay 1 with the non-token artifact. There's a lot to ask at the beginning.
This is not early ramp to me, or it's difficult for this to be early ramp.
Yeah.
Because I have to pay 1 mana per machine I junk. That's because it's 1 sack of non-token artifact created junk. So I can't really start getting this online. Even if all the other cards that I cast for the next couple turns are artifacts, it's still going to be turn 5, 6, 7 before I have like an actual field of 3 or 4 junks that I'm going to use for my nefarious purposes.
Maybe the mana adding is more of a incidental bonus, and this rewards you for having a ton of junk specifically.
I just want to look at my junk and be like, isn't this neat?
Yeah, maybe they're tipping into just like with Ariel, you like having a bunch of stuff. There are collectors out there, there are hoarders out there in this world. They like getting all of the bottle caps on stuff. This person loves batteries.
This person absolutely loves the thing they're finding. They're like deep in the chest of a robot or something and holding up a glowing piece that they got out of it.
Yeah. And so some cards mechanically are like, you love having junk.
Yeah. This card is like one of those ones that you throw this in your random Bloomburrow deck and it is a 0 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's truly synergy based.
Yep. If you are loving this card, you're getting past this card.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Rev the Engines. Cost 1 and a white for an enchantment rare. Whenever an artifact, creature, or vehicle you control enters, put up a soul counter on it. And it also has pay 2, a white, and a white to activate the following ability. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact, creature, or vehicle from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Okay.
Here we go. Pod racing.
Oh yeah, that's what you want, right? You want to see a bunch of little vehicles lining up next to each other.
Yeah. Hey, we do have an artifact creature matters still here. Although servos still trigger this, so that's
servos
okay.
will trigger it. Yep. Vehicles. So I play this on turn 2, and then my turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 artifacts and vehicles are bigger. And I could pay 4 mana to hopefully draw a card.
How many in your deck do you need to have for the top 5 of your library to be probably worth?
The hypergeometric calculator here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to at least ballpark 1 out of 5 cards in your deck. 40 card limited deck, 60 card constructed deck. 1 out of 5 of those has to be this thing.
Yeah.
And you want it to be a little bit higher so that you don't whiff.
It's a lot. Usually you want to play 13 creatures slots?
Yeah, you don't have a lot of room for non-relevant stuff.
Yeah.
And vehicles mostly count as creatures, I'm guessing. I guess you could have a couple vehicles like this vehicle enters and destroys a tapped creature. This vehicle enters and target creature gets -2/-2 until turn. You can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You got a vehicle that it's a uncontrollable rocket engine that just crashed into somebody meteor golem style.
Yeah.
It rewards you for servos on the first ability, but if you get even more rewarded if you do go into artifact creatures alongside vehicles.
Yeah.
But I like that the first ability still feels more easily triggered with the servo, so it feels more playable with the going a white weenie approach.
Yeah, putting a +1/+1 counter on my big golem from earlier, upgrading my 4/6 to a 5/7. I'm not playing this enchantment to do that.
Yeah.
I'm playing it to have a bunch of smaller things. Maybe that's why we have motorbikes. We're gonna have we're gonna boost up our smaller vehicles.
Oh yeah. Here we go. We got motorcycle.
Pod racing. You excited?
I'm excited.
Can you name a pod racer besides Anakin?
Oh, Sebulba.
Oh,
Is that cheating? That's the main antagonist.
You get credit for doing it. you get, I would say, a lot more credit if you could name a different pod racer than
Ooh. Yeah, I can't.
that.
I'm not a what do you call it? I'm like a Star Wars Episode 1 fan. I wouldn't describe myself as that,
Yeah.
but it does maybe make me think maybe I should be watching that scene more. Just
Yeah.
because I would enjoy it. I forget that it exists, and then this set reminded
Mm.
me it exists, and maybe afterwards I want to watch that scene.
When I was a kid, the toys that I had were the like original trilogy action figures. And so I knew a lot of names of random episode 4 aliens because I knew the toy that I had. I guess if you're in just the right age where you had pod racer action figures or you played, wasn't there
Oh
pod racing
yeah,
like a N64 game? If you hit
yeah,
that thing
that was
hard,
really popued. Yeah,
yeah. If you hit that thing hard, maybe you know all the other ones.
someone that I had met a long time ago said they were a big fan of that game, and
Uh-huh.
I thought they were a gamer, but that's the only game they play. Yeah, like literally.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, gotcha.
So they'll know all the different pod.
Yeah.
What are the vehicles called? I think I thought
Oh,
a pod racer is a person, right?
oh, true. What are they?
Are they pods? That doesn't sound right. This is how uninformed I am. All right, yeah, but this rev the engines. This is like a super role playery card. You know, like I'm only putting this in a couple decks. You know, it might not even be one player at a draft table wants this card. But if I'm making the EDH deck, I'm probably throwing this thing.
Mhm.
All right, and maybe our last. Oh, we got a along with our rare, we're full play booster style. We got a mythic in here too. And we actually heard them in the flavor text earlier, Junk Lord Felisa.
Wow.
And it's 3 mana, but the mana cost's a little weird. It's white, hybrid blue white, and then blue. So 3 mana, one's blue, one's white, and one's either blue or white. For a legendary creature, Elder Noble, it's a 2/3. Vigilance. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Create a 1/1 servo artifact creature token. Put a 1/1/1 counter on each other creature you control. Draw a card. So 3 mana, 2/3 Vigi. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can get a creature, pump your creatures, or draw a card. But each mode can only be done once each turn.
Wow. This is a go wide creature.
Go wide or control. I'm just going to cast a instant on my turn, draw a card. I'm going to counter your spell on your turn, draw a card. I'm going to cast a sorcery on my
True.
turn, draw a card. I'm going to
That's
counter your
true.
next spell, draw a card.
Draw a card, cantrip on all your removal and counter spells. That's just,
I don't need servos. I don't need to win the game. I'm just going to draw 3 times as many cards as you.
yeah. If you just keep controlling them, the incidental servos will help you. Like the incidental, whatever big blue kraken creature you throw at the end after you dismantled their hand, that will win you the game. That's cool. Okay, so we're caring about non-creature spells. That means vehicles are great.
Yeah.
Does it artifact creatures? Funnily, not was a theme that seemed to be leading up. Is not a thing for Junk Lord Felisa though.
Felisa cares about servos, but servos are tokens, so they're probably made by other stuff. If I have an artifact that is a factory that pumps out servos,
yeah,
Felisa could probably draw a card off that or whatever. Elder Noble, so like not even really human anymore.
Yeah, it makes me think: is this person made of junk? Like, have they come to life out of junk?
It really conveys to me that this person is very old.
Usually, elders, like on the dragons and demons, they're like in the thousands of years old, maybe hundreds here, but yeah. If there was a before times, what if this person now, because it's legendary, I feel like it's talking a little bit about what maybe the world's lore we can do here is if there is a bunch of junk, if this is not Sakar or stuff is being dropped off, but if there was a world before all the trash got here, whether through apocalypse or through being dropped off, So maybe a spirit has carried onward from that before time to now and has embodied junk.
Yeah, there used to be an Elysium beautiful heaven world. And
Yeah.
Felisa was one of the rejects of that world. And when that world was destroyed, Felisa knew enough to survive and then become one of the rulers of this new apocalypse world.
Yeah.
They have kind of like a trickstery Loki look to them. It's a little hard to see with the art here, but maybe it's like it gave me a little bit of a Waluigi. Or no, I'm looking at it wrong. I saw the eyes as being where the top of the hair is.
Oh.
I'll draw my version later. No, this is like a Sephiroth. This is
That's
a
funny.
beautiful, yeah. I had to
That
zoom in a
is
little
hilarious.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah, Sephiroth-y because they're beautiful, and also because in the art it does show maybe multiple swords going on. One long one and one actually a cloud-like one maybe. They're either sheathed or out of view of the tips of those. But yeah, they got a lot of like a couple of equipment stuff on them.
Maybe like a bazooka that can shoot a javelin on the right there.
Cool. Okay. Control card or go wide card. Can't you?
Yeah.
Always see card.
Certainly a playable card. You could play this as your
Yeah.
commander and be very happy.
Yeah, just drop it in.
We do have another slide in this pack here. I think we're all excited to find out what it is.
Yeah. We have been talking about the beast, and now this token slot shows us what that means. Here we go. This is an emblem with the type call the beast, or just hyphen call the beast. Okay, it's got 4 different separated boxes here. If you imagine the ring bearer template thing being used here. Okay, so the first one says, when you call the beast, choose one. Okay, so the rest of them, you choose one of these. First one says, you mill 3 cards. Second one, exile up to 3 permanent cards from your graveyard. Third one, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, create the beast, a legendary 0/0 artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each card exiled with the Call the Beast ability. Whoa. We did kind of have a Black Bladey thing, but I love that it's not, you kind of have to cobble this together yourself.
Yeah, you're kind of making this big by working kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, baseline, every time I call the beast, I can mill 3 cards. If I don't have a ton of synergy around Call the Beast, if I'm not the Call the Beast deck, the main purpose of calling the beast is self-mill.
Yes.
Once I've done that, I've got 2 other modes that require me being a follower of the beast to want to use. One of them is exiling 3 permanent cards from my graveyard, period. Doesn't do anything else. And then the other one is I can sack a creature, and if I do, I get the beast, and the beast size is the amount of permanents I've already exiled calling the beast. So if I want a cool beast, I probably have to do the exile thing twice, right? Exile 6-ish cards. Then I'm getting like a cool beast that's like feels like I'm starting to get paid off. And to do that, I'm going to need to exile 6 permanents from my graveyard and sack a creature to get the beast. So yeah, the beast is not coming for free.
Maybe if you're not trying to go all the way, it does require a couple setup. If you're not trying to go all the way, what you can do is set up your salvage.
Yeah. You can set up salvage. You can dump a bunch of junk in your yard, which, we've seen plenty of sets where self-mill is like a worthy thing on its own.
Yeah.
And so we had a couple Call the Beast cards before. We had the white one, hey, make 2 1/1s, and then later pay some black mana to Call the Beast. Make 2 1/1s, mill 3 cards later. That might be okay. There might be some graveyard. I guess this card itself cares about being in the graveyard. We saw there was a green card that cared about being in the graveyard. And then, like you said, salvage, which is this set's scavenge, gives me reasons to try to do something. If I mill 3 cards, am I likely to hit a thing that wants to be in my graveyard? Probably not. I probably only have a couple of those in my deck. But I have a chance of hitting that, like flashback. If I self-mill into flashback cards.
We saw one uncommon that does it twice. There might be a card that has an activated ability, Call the Beast, that isn't just one time. You pay whatever 4 mana, call the beast, and you could do it more than once. I guess that would require 8 mana to do, but maybe pay 3 mana. But it's forever. Once you've exiled, triggered that second ability 3 times. You've exiled 3 now you just always can get a 9/9. They get rid of your 9/9 with a removal spell. You could sack another servo, get a 9/9 again.
Yeah, it's like extra late game inevitability.
I'm thinking about how interesting it is that salvage does not. You want salvage likes it when you call the beast, but you don't want to use salvage and the beast strategy at the same time. Because Call the Beast only rewards you for if you exiled those cards with the Call the Beast rather than just it doesn't like it when you have salvaged.
Yeah. It's like if playing flashback cards alongside delve cards.
Oh, yeah. Great analogy.
Yeah. Oh, I flashback a bunch of spells and it rules. Oh, but now I can't cast my Yeah.
So that might be a cool, interesting thing in that you want Call the Beast to not just only be for the Call the Beast deck, because you want to have your Call the Beast triggers to be modular. Maybe you don't want to try to build up a big beast, but you might want a different reason to play this card that has that ability. Milling is your big thing.
Yeah, I just get to mill. Like in the jumpstart Wrenchmar decks. Only some of them have enough density to call the beast, but my 3 call the beast effects in this deck, that's just going to mill me once or twice so that I can power up my graveyard stuff.
Yeah. The Innistrad archetype to mulch yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
The blue-green archetype card tells us you want to have mana and mill. Maybe the mana is incidental. Maybe that's just a nice to have.
Yeah, that blue-green card whenever you call the beast. Or at the end of turn, if you called once, you get to call an extra time.
Oh, true. You do need to fulfill the condition in the first place, so you have to play a bunch of Call the Beasts.
Yeah.
Huh. And it could be on like such a mulch card. There could be a green card that just says, "Hey, Call the Beast," alongside getting something from your graveyard if you want.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is a very unusual effect. Because it's actually kind of tough to successfully have the beast show up, you can be extra generous on doing that, and then that's also like really turbocharging your access to self mill in the set.
Yeah.
Like if we have a lot of things that are like 1 mana kicker riders that let you call the beast or whatever. Or like whenever this common hits the opponent, call the beast.
Giant growth effect, you like bellow out, call the beast, get +2/+2 or +3/+3 on a 2 mana.
It's like draw a card, then call the beast or whatever.
Yeah, instead of opt the scry, you call the beast.
Yeah.
Then that would actually then help with Felisa with the non-creature part. And Anyway, just that particular idea, I guess.
Alrighty, yeah. I wonder, we got a link to a Plane Sculptors at the end here.
Wrenchmar.
We could poke to see if we missed anything. Yeah. Salvage, Hoot and Holler. Oh, Jumpstart. Yeah, there's no Jumpstart in this pack, but there's Jumpstart in the set. Jumpstart is like an extra effect. Like there's one here. Scrapyard upgrade, white mana, sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. It gains indestructible end of turn. And then Jumpstart means you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs, and exile this card. So Jumpstart cards you can cast a second time. You just have to discard a card to cast it a second time.
There we go. That's where part of what we were missing here is Jumpstart is a key reward for milling.
Looks like we got salvage in a bunch of different colors. We got some green salvage, some blue salvage, some green hoot and hollering. About how many vehicles do we have so far?
Are all the artifact creatures salvageable? I see all their example cards. No, not all of them. Okay. I just took a peek at the full set.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
We're past the unpacking.
Yeah,
So.
we're all
this
good.
is your first unpacking. After we unpack, we usually look at the set a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 10, 15, 14. 22 vehicles in this set. It looks like it doesn't have many rares in it yet. Like they're fleshing out the commons and uncommons. But we're over the 20 vehicle mark in this set.
Got there.
Yeah.
I see a card that has exciting find is 1 and a white, but its activated ability has a hybrid blue-red mana. So pay a blue or play a red.
Oh. Huh.
Oh, interesting. Little more modular in what some of these overlaps
This is a funny
are.
card. Exciting find, 1 and a white for an artifact. It's a doohickey, right? When this artifact enters or leaves, tap 1 target creature. So it's sort of a spell effect on artifacts, which is we need in this set. And then, blue-red hybrid, sack it, tap sack it, draw a card as a sorcery. I get to ETB, tap a thing, later pay an extra mana, sack it, tap another thing, draw a card.
Enters or leaves. Reminds me of was it for Castmire? The blue-red detective archetype.
Yeah. Something's changed.
Yeah, something has changed. Yeah. That's cool. Oh, there's a robot samurai.
Oh, hell
It says robot samurai. And it's a samurai construct. So could we have Sakar? Or we just incidentally have?
Oh.
Because maybe is this from Kamigawa or is this a native samurai?
Good question. Yeah.
I realized I should read the set details at the beginning just to see if it confirms. An expansive plane of garbage. Okay, where does the garbage from? The beast is an entity of pure garbage. I love it. There's a red card called Trick Jump.
Ah, nice. All right, yeah. So we got our rundown here of Wrenchmar from this unpacking. We got a little bit of snooping through the set in progress. It looks like this is version 1 on Plane Sculptors. So this is our their first upload. It's from Red Bay and Mono White Border.
Maybe this is Anakin. This person's name is Anter, Wasteland Runner.
Oh.
So there's a little and in there. Maybe there's just like with the Furiosa Felisa possible connection there. But Anter is a 1 and a red, 2/1 legendary creature human scout. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a junk token. Pay 1 and a red, tap sack 2 artifacts is another ability to activate. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped with the finality counter on it. So you could bring back vehicles with
you could pay 2 junk to bring back anything. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
But it does look like a young kid there.
Oh, okay.
Youngish.
Anakin. Annie.
Cool. Well, I enjoyed very much exploring this world.
We told you we were doing a Foundations app and we instead did this.
I thought we were hooting and then we were hollering instead.
Maybe we could still talk about Foundation some other day, but for now we have to get out of here. Before we get out of here, always got to shout out the things you can participate in to hang out with all of us and to submit your own designs. The main thing being our monthly challenge. Our December challenge is Advent Sentinel. Design a card that cares about Defender but doesn't cause all defenders to attack. So, like the kind of normal thing is like, oh, defenders can attack and they deal damage equal to their toughness. That kind of thing. We want just something a little bit different. Give us something besides that. It doesn't have to be a defender creature. You can just care about defenders. We got some bonus points as usual. Advent Children. The card has Offspring. Advent Calendar. Rewards something each turn cycle or each turn. Do you have a lot of fondness for Defender? Have you ever had Defender deck? Played Unlimited? Tried to build something? Any of that?
Yeah. Doran.
Oh, okay.
A friend of mine had a Doran deck, so I didn't build it myself. But I love I love seeing it. I know Arcades, when that new one came out, it just made me
Mm.
smile enough. I think I did build a white blue one with the I think the Azorius Guild, and the later Ravnica sets had an uncommon signpost for lets you attack.
Mm.
This one is not about attacking, but
Yeah.
yeah, Defender matters. I mean, Defender is like a downside
Mm.
mechanic, so it's nice to have more effects that give you positivity.
Alrighty, yeah. Looking forward to those. Let's do December 27th. I think I'll also shout out, we've got it's just like a nice every day there's one or two cards in the popcorn channel. Have you done any popcorn cards?
I have not. No,
All right.
I enjoyed seeing how the popcorn format is and seeing
Yeah.
and just popping in.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
All you got to do here, just look at the most recent card. Let's take the one that just the most recent one from by Ortoy. Salvage Titan. It's a 6 mana 6/6 trample. When it enters or attacks, if there's a creature card in your graveyard, create a red 2/2 red elemental creature token. Do the same for an artifact card, a treasure token, enchantment, and a shard token. A land card and a tapped colorless land token named everywhere that is every basic land type. Our goal, if we wanted to submit to Popcorn here, is that we would have to look at this card and just come up with something that synergizes it in some way. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to add to it? And that's kind of what's fun about it. You get to get your synergy brain going, you get to read it, and you're going to read it differently from everybody else. So you get to sort of like add your own flair or do something that other people weren't expecting. They want to get up to about 400 cards, but quote, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for like a cube, right?
Yeah, kind of a
Yeah.
cube thing. Once they get there, we'll see how that develops. But for now, it's just a cool thing where you jump in and look at a card. And it's very fun. But that's about it for our podcast for the week. Jump in the Discord. That's where the action is. Thanks for coming back, Brad. We hadn't had you on in a while.
Yeah, it feels like I'm coming back home-ish. Felt very natural to come back to this. So thanks
Yeah.
for surprising me and jumping me with artifacts and wrenches that I guess I didn't see a single wrench. I saw a lot of cool other stuff.
We did throw a wrench in this episode recording.
There you go. Whoa.
So you're still up to streaming. That's like your main kind of activity that people can participate in, right?
Yeah, if you want to find me and see what I'm up to, I am streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Bradley Rose. Actually, this right now is a maybe a most relevant time because usually I stream retro games and indie games that are not card games. But yeah, this month, December is the theme, which means I'm streaming only games that have cards in them.
Okay.
Games I've streamed, of course, I've tried out Magic Arena after a long while.
Mm-hmm.
I've also done Marvel Snap, Balatro, Hearthstone, Slay the Spire, the Downfall mod, which I had not done as well. Right now, I just started up which will take a few streams, Batten Kaitos Origins, the GameCube game that has cards as its battle system. And then one of the upcoming ones that I'm going to put in a stream is a game that you played before that you mentioned, Tim, to me before, Wild Frost.
Oh, yeah.
I put that on my backlog for a long time, and I was like, this is it. This is the
December.
month. I'm dusting it off. Yeah. Let's play some Wild Frost.
Alrighty. And your stream schedule roughly?
I don't try to just pick certain days. It's usually just every couple days, every 2 to 3 days, I put a stream up. But if I've been a few days in a row, I'll do a couple back-to-backs.
But evenings?
Oh, Pacific. Yeah. Evenings. Yeah, for sure. After dinner time, Pacific time.
All right. Yeah.
So maybe around 8 p.m. Pacific, you might catch a stream. But I'll throw a Wild Frost announcement in there, and maybe another. I'll probably play Balatro again. That thing. Oh my god, it's so good.
The breakthrough.
It was my first playthrough of that this month. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew this game had something going when I was showing it to my dad.
Oh wow.
Does not really play video games, and he was like, "You know what? I'm interested in that game. I want to play some of that game."
That's cool.
The appeal's there. You do really do any like Blue Sky or anything, or?
Yeah, I'm on the Blue Sky. It's at Special Beam Cannon,
Mm.
as in the cannon that you shoot. So the Dragon Ball move. Not canonical stuff, but yes,
It's like
Special
the
Beam Cannon dot B Sky dot
yeah.
social.
All right, there we go. I just made a Blue Sky. Just put it together a couple days ago. I'm still trying to figure out
Yeah.
what I'm going to put on there, but you can find me there. Same as you can find me on Discord at Tim F. Riley. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you. Wrench.
Wrench.